Hello. So it's been about 2 months since I've done this. It was around Thanksgiving, and it's now January 31st, 2007. So I've begun my second term at UCL as a grad student getting my MA. First off, I would like to say that I have one minor complaint. The complaint is that the financial aid system here is crap. It is the middle of the fourth week of a 10-week term I get to receive my financial aid. I will supposedly have it next week. Now, in the United States, I would get the money a week at minimum before classes started. What they're thinking here, I don't know. But aside from my money woes, I'm doing well. I've gotten some papers back, and I've been doing quite well. A's and B's. You know, B's are okay. They're not great, but they're still above average, so I'm still doing well. My mom likes to tell me that if I spent less time socializing with my friends, I'd probably have all A's. She's probably right. I, however, like to socialize, so not going to happen. So anyways, I have a few things on my agenda for today's little chat. I won't be able to cover up the last 2 months because otherwise this thing would be an hour long, and that's just boring for everyone. But recently, I've become quite Shakespearean here in England. Not really, but a couple of weeks ago, my friend Paul took me to Stratford, England, to see the birthplace, the birthhouse of Shakespeare, and to go see a live production of The Merry Wives of Windsor, starring Dame Judi Dench, at the Royal Shakespeare Theatre, performed by the Royal Shakespeare Company. It was quite good. It was a lot of fun. I went to go see traditional English villages, unlike anything we have at home. I saw thatched housing, you know, like the branches on the roofs, thatching. It was interesting. It's like a fairy tale type thing. I kept calling it quaint. Paul said that sounded insulting, but he knew I wasn't trying to be, and I apologized. Maybe quaint's not the right word. Maybe charming. I don't know. It's just, we don't have stuff like that in the United States. So that was interesting. So I saw that Shakespeare play. And this Friday, I will be going to go see, here in London, another Shakespeare play, Antony and Cleopatra, starring Patrick Stewart as Antony. I'm quite excited because those of you who know me and those of you who don't, I am a bit of a Star Trek fan, so Patrick Stewart, very cool. That should be fun. Also, last weekend, my Managing Archaeological Sites class went on a field trip around London. Actually, we're going on another one this weekend, but this weekend we'll focus on Roman London. The last one focused on various different sites, but two of the ones we went to were two of the original playhouses used by Shakespeare. We went to the Globe Theatre. There's a reconstruction of the Globe Theatre along the south bank of the Thames River. That reconstruction is located a few hundred feet from the actual site. So we passed by the reconstruction, briefly talked about what went into building the reconstruction and the archaeological evidence used to build it and make it as accurate as possible. And then we walked down to where the actual globe was found. It's now underneath, most of it's underneath the building, so it's just sort of like a paved area in front of the building that has markings. And then we went to the Rose Theatre, which is actually preserved in situ underneath the building. So you sort of go in this door on the side, and there's a big concrete block room, and you can't really see anything. It's actually buried, but they excavated it and refilled it to preserve it, and the outline of it is drawn out in what the site manager called disco lights, which basically it was a string of red lights along the wall, along the floors, outlining the outlines and the stage outline and stuff like that of the theater. But that was very interesting, so that was really cool. So I got to do all that, lots of Shakespeare stuff. So what else is new? School is, I already talked about, you know, doing well in grades and stuff. But this is a 2-year master's program. Most master's programs are 1. Beginning in April, I will begin the placement section of my master's, which will be 30 weeks, divided into 3 chunks of 10 weeks. Now, that's what makes it longer than most. Most are just the 1 10-week period. So for my first placement, I will be in the south of England on a place called West Dean. I have no excavation experience, so my teacher is going to send me down there with his field unit who leads it. And basically every 2 weeks a new group of undergraduate students from UCL come in and get trained in archaeology. And so he wants me to do that, but I will be there for 5 weeks. So I'll get lots of experience. And he says after the first 2 weeks, like one section of the site does training and one section of the site will actually be doing archaeology. Well, I mean, they're both doing archaeology, but not training. So he said, if I feel that I'm ready after 2 weeks, I can go off to the other side. If I want to stay and, get more practice, I can do that as well. And my friend Paul from school will be going as well, but he's got lots of experience, so he'll be one of the people managing and teaching the younger students and myself. So that's my first placement. I have to leave a little bit early. I'm only going to be there for 5. It's technically supposed to be 7, but I need to go home in June for my brother's wedding. So, and I'm hoping to be able to go home for about 2 to 3 weeks. That's my plan. I'm going to ask for it. We'll see if it happens. I may go to the site early then, before that, to do survey work to, put in the coordinate system and stuff like that for georeferencing. But we'll see what happens. Then my second placement will, of course, be September, October, and early November in Turkmenistan at the site of Merv, a 4,000-year-old site occupied for 4,000 years, and very interesting. That hopefully that works out and we get the funding and the equipment that I need to do the laser scanning and stuff. So that should be awesome. And then in the winter, when I come back from then, I will do another 10 weeks working with my teachers, my lecturers, field unit, again in the south of England. And because I'll be spending so much time there, as well as will be Paul, we are discussing moving to Brighton. We'll probably get a place together since, well, we know each other, and that makes it easy to find a roommate, doesn't it? So we may be moving to Brighton come April. Not really sure yet. There's a slim possibility we'll stay in London. That's still being discussed. So, Brighton, moving, placements. It's been really hectic trying to get all this stuff pinned down, specific dates and everything. It's taken weeks for us to get anything from our lecturer, and we'll see how it goes. We still don't know all the details. So that's been a little stressful, but at least it's starting to come together. It'll be hard trying to move to another city. I don't have a car or anything, but luckily most of my stuff, none of the furniture in this apartment is mine. It all came furnished, so most of my stuff is just clothes and books and knickknacks and things, so I should maybe in two train rides be able to get all that down there. So that shouldn't be too bad to spend a weekend. What else? Oh, word of the day. Well, it's not really the day because I don't do this daily, so I'll come up with a better term. For this one, word of the day. I decided to do a comparison for my American viewers, and I have a few English ones, apparently, according to comments on YouTube. So they can get an idea of what an American thinks of in this country. So a lot of words in American English and English are different. A lot of different terms, and sometimes the words are just different because the things we have are just different. So, one small example to start off with will be the hash. In England, it's called the hash. In the U.S., I've heard it before, but not very likely. More commonly known as the pound sign. For those of you who still don't know what I'm talking about, the number symbol. So that's one difference. In the U.S., we call it the pound sign. You call your bank up, blah, 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 put in your account number followed by pound. Here it's putting your account number followed by hash. I have heard hash in the United States. It's just not very often. So that's one difference. But that's just one example. I got a better one now for you. Pickle. Now, U.S., you say pickle, you think of pickle. A cucumber that's been soaking in like a vinegary type liquid that's made it shrivel up, and you've got pickles, and you also have pickled eggs and pickled beets and that kind of stuff. But here, pickle has a little bit of different name. They have actual pickles, but then they use the word pickle to describe a variety of products. They're kind of like relish or chutney, but then see, there you go, chutney. What's a chutney? Americans, we don't have chutney. I didn't know what a chutney was until I tried some. It's quite good. Paul's mom gave me a whole jar of homemade chutney. I looked this up on Wikipedia. Chutney as a genre is often similar to the salsa of Latino cooking. As a Latino, I would have to disagree. Or European relish, insofar as it usually involves a fresh, chopped primary vegetable/fruit with seasonings added to be used as a condiment for another food. I think the relish example is better than salsa, because to me it doesn't resemble salsa. It resembles relish because it's, I don't know, it's not red, and it's not green, and it's not hot, and it's not Latino. Anyways, so that's one thing. Oh, that just reminded me of another one. I said vegetables/fruit. We say slash, and they say something else, which is now escaping me. But I know in lectures when they've had text up on the PowerPoint and they're like blah 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 slash blah blah blah, they use a different word, and I can't think of what it is. So I'll have to save that for my next podcast. That'll be one of the words of the day then. Gotta come up with a better term. I'll have to put some thought into that. So I'm gonna keep this kind of short. I think I'm gonna end it about there. But thank you for watching, and my family and friends. I'll see you soon, online probably, because I probably won't be back in the States till June, late June. Everyone else, have a good night.